Welcome to today's video. This is going to be a new project pan introduction. This is going to be Finish 10 in 2021. This is going to be a year-long project pan. I did this project last year as well, and I had some really challenging items, and I gotta say, I did really well on that project. I was actually pretty impressed with myself at the finale. I will link that finale if you do want to see that, and I have a whole project pan playlist from 2020, and I'm going to start a new playlist for this year as well. I have also introduced a new pan that palette, my Loba. If you did not see my year-long makeup empties, I will link that in the description box as well. I'm pretty impressed with how much makeup I was able to finish actually. So this project is going to be challenging as well. I picked some difficult items, kind of similar to some of the products that I had in last year's Finish 10 project, but these are even more challenging, honestly. But I really want to focus on finishing things up this year more than hitting pan like I have in the past. We'll see how this goes. Some of these products are going to be very hard to use up, but I'm going to try. I've got some time to do it, so let's get into it. The only non-makeup item is a perfume, and I do want to finish this. This is Viva La Juicy La Fleur. I did a perfume collection in December, and I mentioned that this is not my favorite fragrance anymore. Viva La Juicy was my favorite many years ago, like a good 12 years ago. And this is a slightly more floral version of that, but they are nearly identical. I like it, but I'm just a little bit tired of it because I wore it for quite a long time. So I would like to use this up, and I mean, this is fairly full. I mean, I've used up a decent amount, but this is a pretty big bottle. Let's see. Yeah, this is the 2.5 fluid ounce. And a goal for this year is for me to finish up some of my full-size perfumes. Last year, I was working on a body spray, and it was my last body spray. I really wanted to get that done, and it took me the majority of the year. It was a pretty large bottle. This year, I want to focus on my perfumes, and we'll see how this goes. There are two items in this project that are going to be more, I just want to see progress on them. I'm not trying to finish them up, but the rest of it, I will be trying to finish up. So the first one is this Hourglass Sculpture palette. In this same project last year, I worked on my other Hourglass palette, the Ghost palette, and I made some really good progress on that. I mean, I did not finish it or anything like that, and I have seen people pan these entire palettes, which is pretty amazing, but I don't think I can realistically do that. This is where I am now. I have used this probably 20 times or maybe a little bit more since I've purchased it. I just want to see some progress, which can be a little bit difficult with these baked products because you don't really see a difference until it starts to really flatten out, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to kind of monitor, and something I just want to get use out of. Next up is the Charlotte Tilbury, what is this called? Film Star Bronze and Glow. And I worked on this in several projects in the past. I have used this a ton. And I have pan on the highlighter, obviously. My goal is to hit pan on the contour shade and expand the pan on the highlighter. Again, I don't think I could finish this. I have already used this so much. I don't even know how much. I have not kept track. I know it is well over 100 times, probably closer to 200. I've had this thing for a few years. So I know that there's no way that I could finish this, but I just want to see some visible progress. The rest of the items I want to finish up. First up is this Becca Afterglow palette. This is a face palette, and I do want to finish the whole thing. Now I'm counting this as 3 items. You'll see why. I have not used these up. One of you guys suggested that I repress these into other compacts because these were just very small size pans for my blush brush and my bronzer brush. So that is what I did here. First, let me show you the highlighters. This is Champagne Pop, and I worked on this in a project last year trying to hit pan. I obviously did not do that, but I have a pretty good dip going in there, if you can see that. And then I've used this highlighter quite a bit as well. Now let me show you the other ones. So I ended up just repressing both of the blushes together, and here they are. I have already been using this for about a week and a half. This is so pigmented. Oh my gosh, I forgot how pigmented Becca blushes are. This is insane. The first time that I used this after putting it in this pan, I put way too much on, and yeah, it's a pretty intense blush. So this is 2 of the mini blushes that were in here. What are they called? Flower Child and Snapdragon. They were both pinky type shades, so I just decided let's just combine them and make a new color. The bronzer is Capri Coast, and that is in here. And I've been working on this for a week and a half already, and look at that progress. This was completely covered after I repressed it. So I'm pretty happy with this. I feel like I'm doing pretty well on that. Hopefully I could finish that soon because yeah, this is only one pan, whereas the blushes are 2 pans from that palette. So gonna try to finish up this bronzer as well. I love the Becca bronzers, and thank you to the person who suggested that I do that. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner, so thank you for your idea. Speaking of bronzer, since I've already made pretty good progress on that one in only a week and a half, I'm gonna put in a full-size bronzer as well, and I really debated which one to put in. I went with this ColourPop one. This is called Coconut Beach. And I decided on this because there isn't a ton of product in here. Let's see. It is 0.25 ounces, which, I mean, that is a decent amount. It is, but a lot of my other bronzers are even bigger than this. And this color, it's a bit on the lighter side compared to some of my other bronzers, and it's a bit of a powdery formula. So I took all of that into consideration, and I decided that I do want to use this up. I mean, you can almost see the indentation of the rings there. I mean, I've used this a good amount of times. I don't know exactly how many, but yeah, I would love to finish this up, and I hope that I can do that because that small pan of bronzer from the Becca palette, I mean, it's nearly done anyway, so then I will be working on this. All right, 3 more things. A blush. I finished a full-size blush last year, and it took me all year. So I want to finish one more. This is going to be hard because that Becca blush that I repressed in there is so pigmented. So working on both of these may be a little bit difficult, but we'll see. I'm going to try to do it. Now, this is Too Faced in Baby Love. I already have pan on it. I hit pan on this a while ago. So, you know, since I've already got some progress on this one, hopefully I could finish it up. But I mean, there is a good amount of product in here. There really is. I think this is going to be difficult as well, but I will say this blush is not as pigmented as the Becca ones. It is more of like a lighter neutral shade. So, you know, I can use more of this than the Becca ones and it would not look, you know, too crazy. I like an intense blush look, I do. So this is going to be challenging. I don't know, maybe I'm kind of putting myself in a difficult situation by having this and the ones from the Becca palette. I'm going to try to do it. I would love to finish that entire face palette. I have finished a face palette before. I finished one of the Hourglass, the ambient lighting one, where it has 3 of the radiant powders. I finished that entire palette. And that took me a couple of years though. And there's less product in that Becca palette. So we'll see. But again, that blush, very, very pigmented. It's going to be a challenge for sure, but I'm going to try to do it. Then we have a highlighter. This is Catrice Champagne Campaign, and I use this more as a finishing powder. I have used this a lot, and there's not a huge dip going in there. This is going to be a challenge as well, but because I use it as finishing powder, I tend to use a bit more of it than I do a highlighter. I love this. I talked about this in my yearly favorites video. This thing is amazing. I really enjoy it. And let's see how much is in this one. This is 0.17 ounces, which is not as much. So I don't know. I'm hoping the pan is shallow. We'll see. Again, I don't know. I've never hit pan on this product before. But yeah, we'll see. I hope I could do it. I really do love this, so I would love to finish up an entire highlighter. Now, speaking of finishing a highlighter, the last item is a highlighter. This is Urban Decay Sin, and you would have seen this in my pie project pan last year if you were watching that. I have decided to put that project on hold because something I'm kind of working on for this year is either finishing things up completely or purely just counting usage. The only thing that I'm working on right now that I just want to hit pan on really is my Pan That palette. So I don't know. I just feel like it makes more sense now to finish things up instead of just trying to hit pan. In the pie project pan, I was trying to hit pan on this highlighter. It took me a very long time, but I have done it. I have a tiny bit of pan finally. It's so exciting. I can't believe it. It took me many, many months. I think maybe even 6 months. I'm not sure, 5 or 6 months, I think. So I want to just try to finish this up. I mean, the dip on this is pretty big in the center here. I was kind of going across that whole middle area, so I do feel like I used up a lot of product while trying to hit pan. So I'm really hoping I could finish this. I mean, it's going to be a challenge because I'm also trying to finish those highlighters in that Becca palette. I do often layer highlighters together, so you know, we'll see how that goes. All three of the colors do work for my skin tone. Last year I kind of had a hard time panning highlighter because I was working on a mini of Becca Opal, which was too dark for my skin tone, so I had to combine that one with other highlighters. Whereas these, they work individually, or I could layer them together if I so choose. I feel like I have more options this way, and yeah, luckily none of these highlighters are too dark for my skin tone like the one I was working on last year. I'm hoping that's going to be easier, but this is a really dense formula. Like I said, hitting pan was incredibly challenging, but this is going to be a challenging project. What can I say? I really picked some difficult items, but I've got the year to do it, so we'll see. And I'm going to try to not focus so much on hitting pan in other projects. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing the pie project pan, at least for a while, maybe in a couple months. If I feel like I'm making good progress on these, I'll go back to doing that project. But right now I want to focus on finishing things up and still, of course, rotating through my stash. You know, I'm doing like a monthly Shop My Stash makeup capsule, and I'm still doing Project 10 uses using my eyeshadow palettes, Project Pan and Project 100 uses. So I feel like I'm working on rotating through my stash, but also finishing things up. So I don't know, it just didn't make sense for me to try to hit pan on a bunch of things that I'm probably not going to finish in the near future. Alrighty, that is it for this Project Pan intro. I am really excited. I'm particularly excited that I already have progress on that Becca bronzer since repressing it. But the rest, I don't know, they're going to be really difficult items. I think it would be pretty unlikely that I could finish all of these, but even if I make some good progress, I'll really be happy with that. So yeah, that is it. I will link my last year's Project Pan playlist. I'm also starting a new one for this year. I started a new Pan That palette, if you saw that, and I'm going to be doing a new Project Pan also in the next couple of weeks. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.